Hello, this is the first of my answers to what annoys you in martial arts. And it's an answer to Zach's question of why is there so much cultish behaviour in Bagua and internal martial arts? Why can't people just all get along and practice together? I've thought about this and I have a few answers. First is the people who come to internal martial arts, a good proportion of them have the idea that if they practice Tai Chi for 20 or 30 years, they will become invincible, or Bagua for 20 or 30 years, they will become invincible, and people who do other martial arts will not be able to touch them. And people who do other internal martial arts probably won't be able to touch them either. And they are able to maintain this kind of image and illusion, partly from the stories they read about internal martial arts, but partly through how they practice. And the majority of practice in internal martial arts is solo, lots of form training, and then it is also pretty cooperative. So there's pushing hands, but a lot of the times people are doing pushing hands, the idea of making the ideal pattern. And then they'll do applications where one person throws a punch or just stands there and the other person goes through an attack or a throw. But there's not really any resistance. Every school has its own system and way and logic of practice, and they can be a little bit different because they don't practice together. But what that means is when they do practice together, there's a clash because the other people don't react how they expect. And as a result, their self-image gets a little bit battered because there they were thinking, oh, my chi is amazing, I am nearly invincible. And then clash, 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 it's not working. To get around this, the smart thing to do is to practice with more resistance. If you go to judo or jiu-jitsu or boxing, you can walk into any gym in the world and you can practice with people. And they won't be going, oh, do you do that kind of jiu-jitsu? Not very much anyway. Maybe they do a little bit, but you'll still be able to have a good interaction because the rules of the interaction are fairly clear and the idea of resisting the other person is clear. So people, when they've been resisted enough, they realize, you know what? I don't think I'll ever be invincible. I might be better than this person, but that person's always going to crack my head. So they don't have the same problem of the self-image of, my style is perfect. My power will soon be immeasurable. Doesn't happen. So that's number one issue. They don't like to practice with each other because when they do, it crushes their self-image. The other thing which happens, and this happens across all kinds of martial arts, you'll find that the people who come from the styles which are the most similar, the most related, different branches of the same family, often have the most hatred for each other, the most vexation. It's like, why is that? And there's actually an interesting neurological reason for it. There was a study done a few years ago on dancers and mirror neurons. And mirror neurons, if you don't know, it's a system of nerves in the body which react when a body a bit like yours in your vicinity moves. So you're creating a mirror image of the movement in your nervous system to the movement you're perceiving. And what people found was that dancers who were watching a dance style they were familiar with, that they'd practiced, had a greater mirror neuron reaction to dancers who were watching a dance style that they hadn't practiced. How this applies to martial arts, as far as I'm concerned, is if I see someone who's doing basically the same style as me, but slightly differently, which will probably mean, in my mind, slightly wrong, because this is how we get taught internal martial arts. Not like that. No, not like that. No, not like that. No, too tense, too stiff, too hard, right? So you get told, wrong, 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 wrong. So when something is slightly different, it's probably wrong. It creates a clash in the nervous system, and because it's so similar to what they're doing, they feel it really acutely. So they just get annoyed. Then there are the political reasons. Now, you would think because so few people practice Bagua in the world generally, that when you had two Bagua practitioners meet up together, be like, yay, great, we can do all kinds of stuff, it's fine. But actually, what often happens with schools is there are so few people who practice Bagua that I can't afford to let any of my students go and visit any of the other schools just in case I don't come back, because I've only got 5 students and I don't want to have to teach with 4 students or 3 students. That would be terrible. So there's that reason which happens why you have cultishness in internal martial arts. So it's kind of largely commercial. And then a final reason is cultishness because you have a cult leader running the class. That can happen anywhere, any martial art. Probably a little bit more in internal martial arts and other martial arts because, they're spiritual. And when you have spiritual, then you have cultishness. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So those are my reasons why you get a lot of cultishness in internal martial arts and in I-Bagua. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll be happy to keep discussing this. If there are more things which you'd like to hear about which annoy you in martial arts, then again, put it in a comment down below. And if you go, oh, the Well of Wisdom, this looks like a really good place to come and practice, you can come and practice here. So send me a message. That's it for now. Take care.